Welcome back to HQ Spotlight. Defensive standouts Trey Amos and Nick Scourton, two rookies planning on playing a lot in their rookie season. And for more on the top rookies in the NFL this year, we welcome in our NFL analysts Josh Edwards and Mike Renner. And gentlemen, exciting time of the year. Everybody loves a good rookie story, right? And we've got a chance to have several of those. Josh, we'll start with the Commanders. They were electric on offense last year, but I guess they need some help on defense, and you believe they've got a guy to provide it.
Yeah, first of all, this is Mike and I's favorite time of year because we studied these guys as draft prospects, and now we get to talk about them as NFL players. Washington needed help at both cornerback and edge rusher this offseason. They really did not address the edge rusher position too much. They went out, they got Marshon Lattimore to trade deadline last year. He was kind of up and down in his performance, so the position still remained a need for them this offseason. They've got Mikey Sainristil, who is a very talented slot cornerback, and I think when you have a competition with Trey Amos, Jonathan Jones at one of those boundary positions opposite Marshon Lattimore, that allows you to keep Sainristil in that slot position, which is where I think he can thrive using his physicality, his awareness. I think this is an upgrade for Washington going into the preseason.
Yeah, to echo what Josh said, Sainristil was kind of out of position last year. He's not your traditional outside corner, so putting him in the slot should maximize his skill set, and he should be truly the perfect slot for Dan Quinn coach defense. And then he gives you the flexibility Trey Amos does, that maybe he doesn't have to start right away, but unfortunately, given Marshon Lattimore's injury history over the past few years, even if he doesn't start right away, he's going to probably play a big role on this team this year. But given what I've seen from him in college, 5 years of playing time, almost 2,500 snaps over the course of his career, would not surprise me whatsoever. And I fully expect, actually, him to take that job across Marshon Lattimore.
Josh, and both of you, really, I feel like there's a run of offensive linemen that's going to happen in this segment, and we've got another one coming up here. As we look at the Texans, who have a lot of needs, certainly, but they could start on the offensive line, and I know you guys think that they've got some help there.
Yeah, well, first of all, they traded Laremy Tunsil away this offseason. It had already been viewed as a need for this franchise just based on the way last season played out. They did not live up to expectations. They needed to make some changes. Of course, Tunsil was a very drastic one, trading him to the Commanders. But you went out in the draft, you got Ariante Ursary, who from Minnesota, who is a mammoth left tackle, but he's somebody that I viewed as more of a project. But if you listen to training camp reports out of Houston, there's some belief that maybe he's going to be ready to step in there early in the season and potentially be their left tackle of the future. He's currently competing with Cam Robinson, who has struggled to latch on at his last few destinations. So I think there's a real opportunity for Ursary to see the field early as C.J. Stroud's new left tackle.
Yeah, I think if you're a Texans fan, you're praying Ursary wins this job because we've seen Cam Robinson, right? Whether it was with Minnesota last year or Jacksonville early in the year and then the rest of his career, he is basically like the litmus test for it. Can you start at left tackle? He's probably like about as bad as you can be to still be a starting left tackle in the NFL. So that's why you hope the second round does it. Now, given my evaluation of Ursary, I kind of echo what Josh said, that I don't think he takes that job right away. I think ultimately it's Cam Robinson on the left side, Blake Fisher on the right side, and this was just kind of an insurance plan in case one of those guys get hurt, because obviously with the state of this offensive line right now, it is very, very thin in terms of those starters. Any one of them could be replaced at a moment's notice. There's just not a lot of quality starters on that roster.
Josh, we'll get back to those offensive linemen in a minute, but let's go back to the other side of the ball. And if you follow the NFL draft and if you follow the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, every year it seems like they get another SEC guy to help bolster that defense, and very often they get them in a great spot in the draft. Maybe they've done that again this year for their secondary.
Yeah, in the past, it has been from Georgia. That has been the well in which they've gotten their water over the past couple of years. But now we're looking at Philadelphia making some changes to their secondary, moving on from some of the veterans there and embracing a youth movement. You bring in Andrew Makuba, who is going to be competing with Sidney Brown, a third-round pick in last year's draft. You've got Reed Blankenship, who has been a solid contributor for that team as well. I think when you look at Vic Fangio, what he has done with Philadelphia's defense, obviously bringing the most out of linebacker Zach Bond last year, you tend to give them the benefit of the doubt in terms of development among their defenders. So Makuba is a player that I think could see the field early for Philadelphia and be a factor for that defense in 2025.
Yeah, when they drafted Sidney Brown, it was for a different scheme. It wasn't for Vic Fangio's defense. And truthfully, I don't think he's a good fit. And that's why you see, only, a few years later that they're going back to the well at safety within the top 100 for a guy like Andrew Makuba, who's much more comfortable playing top down. Sidney Brown, to me, is either a slot or a deep safety. He is not one of those guys that can play a too high alignment and then match wide receivers coming at you. That's Makuba's bread and butter. He did it at Clemson. He did it at Texas. That's where he can win. So in the competition between those two, I just feel like Makuba is such a better scheme fit and has played enough football at this point, 4 years as a starter in college, that this guy should be able to step in and compete early, because in that defense, it's not super complex. We saw 2 rookies do it last year. Makuba very easily could be the third now in the secondary in 2 years.
Josh, let's stay with the SEC. I mean, so many great defensive players come out of that conference. Nick Scourton is another one. He was a menace rushing the passer for the Aggies last year of Texas A&M. He will bring his talents to the Carolina Panthers.
Everywhere you look in the NFC South, there is a rookie pass rusher out of the SEC. Atlanta, you've got Jalen Walker from Georgia. You've got James Pierce from Tennessee. In Carolina, you've got Princely Umanmielen from Ole Miss, and you've got Nick Scourton from Texas A&M. But I think, truthfully, we saw the best football out of Scourton when he was at Purdue. I think he was playing at a more comfortable weight. You could see his explosiveness, his potential at the position. And for a team like Carolina, who has struggled mightily to field a consistent, effective pass rush, Scourton is somebody that can step on the field and contribute for them from day one. They've got some veterans in there like Patrick Jones and DJ Wanham, but I think this is a team that really hopes and believes that Scourton is somebody that can step in for them and provide immediate contributions this season.
And I think he will, because why I think he was less effective at Texas A&M versus Purdue was the role he was playing, almost counterintuitively, because he's this bigger, burlier edge defender. He was better from a 2-point stance. He was better as like a 3-4 outside linebacker when he was at Purdue than a true hand-in-the-dirt 4-3 defensive end. And he goes to Carolina, where he's going to be able to do that. He's going to be that wide 9, 2-point stance, able to read the tackle from the snap. And that's when you really saw the traits, the power take over as a 19-year-old, double-digit sacks at Purdue. I think we recapture that guy in the Ejiro Evero's scheme, and I think he's easily one of the starters week 1.
Josh, the Kansas City Chiefs always loaded with weapons, but you've got to protect the franchise in Pat Mahomes. We saw that in the Super Bowl. He was on his back a lot. They hope Josh Simmons can do just that for him.
Yeah, every time we have seen Kansas City fall short of their ultimate goal of the Super Bowl, it is because of the offensive line. Tampa Bay, of course, more recently Philadelphia. Josh Simmons is somebody that we praised throughout the entire draft process as probably being the best left tackle prospect in this class. The reason that he lasted so long is because he suffered an injury early in the season. There was a very small sample size of what he was able to do against Power 4 competition, having just transferred in from San Diego State this past season. So Kansas City went out. They got a contingency in Jalen Moore in free agency. Okay. They drafted Josh Simmons in the first round to potentially be the left tackle of the future. And I think he has the talent and the potential to do that very quickly in training camp.
Mike, let's go to you and talk about another team that could certainly use some offensive line help. It looks like the Patriots do have their franchise quarterback of the future in Drake May. Now the challenge is to keep him upright, and it looks like they've got a guy that can certainly provide some security on that offensive line.
Yeah, Jared Wilson, their third rounder out of Georgia. He was a guy who didn't actually play a ton of football at Georgia, but still declared early because that's how good his tape was this past season. He was the best testing athlete, like in the entire draft class along the offensive line. And he goes to an offensive line where it's no secret that this interior is a mess. I mean, they signed Garrett Bradbury, who the Vikings didn't even want to play center. So that was the position Wilson played in college. So I don't know if there's necessarily going to be a competition there, or if he goes to left guard, where it looks a little bit more open because former first rounder Brenton Strange is coming back from a patellar injury, the same one we talked about with Josh Simmons, and it's not a good injury for an offensive line. That's why, obviously, Josh Simmons fell all the way to the back end of the first round. Strange hasn't had quite the same recovery as Simmons has quite the same quickness. We saw him not be able to come back towards the end of last year. So I think that's where he could factor in. But either way, he's a heck of an athlete who should be able to make at least an impact if called upon early on.
Guys, thank you so much. Patriots finally hoping to have an offense to be excited about. A lot of players that you just named, everybody should be excited about in 2025. As you look at the odds to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, the running back out of Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, leading the way for the Raiders at plus 250.